Merger. You merge with another collision shop. Tax-free until you get rid of until you sell the underlying stock. However, as I said before, I'd always rather I was in a deal than begging to get out. So what we did with with 4 shops, 2 families owned it. What we did was okay. What we did in this case is, as I said, if you merge these companies all together into one, what happens if you don't play well in the sandbox together? The concept of a management company is that what you do is say, okay, I think we can work well together. I think we're going to save some money through purchase discounts with paint, other types of purchase discount, potentially being able to hire a good CFO that's now we do this for 12 months, 12 to 18 months, this management company. And then at the end of 12 to 18 months, they can then merge in. If they merge in and then it doesn't work, breaking these 4 separate companies back up again becomes impossible. So the idea here of saying, we're not merging until I know that we all can work together. So we use this management company as an interim step to make sure that it works well together, everyone plays in the sandbox well together. And then we're rolling them up into a merger. So this is something, it's different than a holding company because this will become the holding company. But all this right now says is that each of these companies sign a management agreement that said it's going to collect all revenues, pay all expenses, and take a percentage for doing management. And at the end of that period, then it becomes the holding company. And you can contribute the stock into the holding company, and there is no tax consequences for doing that. So as I said, is making sure that you have the right partners. Because also, as I said before, everyone's going to exit. But if the partners are not thinking along the same lines, then they are not rowing the boat in the same direction. And I think everyone knows what happens if you have 2 rowers and they're not rowing the boat in the same direction. The boat goes in a circle and goes nowhere. One of the things that I do with a client with partners is I have a questionnaire that I have developed for the partners to talk about how they fit in the business today, what their strengths and weaknesses are, some questions on how they communicate, and saying, okay, 5 years from now, tell us about the business. I had one of these meetings with a client a couple of weeks ago, and I got the questionnaires in advance, and I said, before we start, first thing I got to correct is, one partner says he likes being at work 50% of the time, and the other one says he likes 90% of the time. I said, the first thing we got to do is get the guy who's at 50% up, because this partnership is not going to work if you're loving life and he's hating life.
Or get the other guy down.
Well, and actually that's possible too. Not necessarily as good. But the other point is that by doing this 5-year, we can look and say, okay, do we have consensus to build a 5-year plan? In a couple of cases, I've ended up having to negotiate what I thought ended up being amicable business divorces because both partners realized after we went through what their goals were, they weren't the same. So the idea of making sure, and then that questionnaire and the 5-year piece begins the beginning of a 5-year plan that then you can then develop the measurable milestones for year 1, 2, and 3 to see if you're getting there and how you're going to get there.
Is there a tax benefit to a merge versus?
Yes, you won't pay taxes on a merger. It's an exchange of stock. It's a tax-free transaction until you sell the underlying stock.